Joining us now, New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. So, Congressman, I know you are one of the consensus builders. You serve a role to bring people together in the Republican conference. I just got a report from some of the folks that are on the fiscal hawk side of things, and they're a little concerned about the extent of the deficit growth. What can you tell us about where things stand with the reconciliation bill and your efforts to get it passed?
Look, I think there's a lot of good work going on, and I think that we can do this. I believe we can do it. I have always been conservative. Even back years ago when I was a Democrat, I was conservative, believe it or not. There was something called being a blue dog Democrat, which no longer exists. They are way off the reservation. But I've also been a populist. I believe in people. I believe in helping people. And I got to tell you, somebody who's got the same opinion very often is our guy, President Donald Trump. He doesn't want to hurt people. He doesn't necessarily want to take away things from people who are trying to pull themselves up in the world. So I think that as we do this, we need to make sure that, yes, we are making appropriate cuts, that we are saving money, that we're stopping the waste, fraud, and abuse. And I could go through all of it in all different departments, areas, agencies, et cetera. But at the same time, we have grown the Republican Party, Matt. This is not the party of limousine rhinos. I don't know how else to say it. This is a party of blue-collar, working people who care about America, who really came in our fold, who helped us win this election. So there's two components in what I said, the compassionate component and also the political component. Finally, though, this is not an excuse saying we shouldn't do anything. We can do a lot, but it's not just a number. It's also what we actually accomplish, what we can do that's good, and what we don't want to do, which is bad.
I want to dig a little deeper into that, Congressman. Are there any cuts that are being considered now that you think would either be bad politics or that would be harmful to people, as you mentioned?
Well, there were some of the Medicaid cuts, which the president agreed with as well. Now, let me just say in Medicaid, and some of these changes are being made. Some folks are not happy about all the changes, but waste, fraud, and abuse, obviously, who's going to vote against waste, fraud, and abuse? Eligibility requirements. So it used to be before Biden that every 6 months you had to become eligible again. He changed it to once a year. So we had people that weren't eligible on the books. People who are illegal should not be getting Medicaid, that as well. Work requirements, where appropriate, absolutely, and done appropriately. Just getting that done, Matt, if we actually really get it done, is huge in the Medicaid area. SNAP, we want to stop the abuse.
That would be huge. Congressman, if you got people, if you had work requirements on Medicaid and you got the illegals off Medicaid, that would be the most transformational positive change to the Medicaid program we've had since its inception. That would be terrific. So do you think there are any Republicans that are against those provisions you just laid out?
The provisions I just laid out, I think we have 99%, if not everyone. There were a few provisions that really concerned people where we thought that harm might be done. People didn't agree with it. I was even willing to look at, I'll give you an example though, before I say the ones that people didn't like. There's something called the FMAPs, and I don't want to get too in the weeds with this for people who are watching and listening. The bottom line is, we don't want to hurt the hospitals. We don't want to hurt the disabled. We don't want to hurt working poor, many of whom are our people. We should understand that. So we can do both. We can make it better. Matt, philosophically, we cannot, it's been bleeding for years. This patient, this United States of America, and this network has been sick for a long time. To make it better, you're not going to do it in just one reconciliation. It's going to take a number of times. Stop the bleeding, turn it around, keep our people whole at the same time. That's the trick.
You are one of the majority makers, a Republican in a blue state. I know you're close with a number of the New York Republicans and California Republicans who are always on the front lines of the majority. The SALT issue, the state and local tax deduction issue, where can you tell us that negotiation is headed in this bill?
Well, they come up with the number 30,000, which is 3 times what it used to be. And even some of the New Yorkers are happy. I think that, for example, Congressman Meliotakis is happy, and others that are happy, but some are not. And they want it to be a much larger number. We've got to get everybody together. So the folks that are in the Freedom Caucus and the people who are from New York. Somehow we have to find common ground. Hasn't been easy. I can live with the 30. I am not drawing a line in the sand over that issue. So I've said before, quite frankly, no matter how high it is or no matter how low it is, I'm not going to make a fuss over this. It had to be more than it was, but I am mindful that there are folks from red states, Matt, and you can relate to this. Florida is well run, and you have a state like Florida, and people are kind of annoyed that they feel like they're subsidizing states that are poorly run. For example, Murphy in New Jersey, Hochul in New York. I mean, the way they run those states, the waste of money is an abomination. So I understand how people feel, but again, we have to survive. We need those New York people back in order to maintain the majority. That's the reality.
I think you described the balance perfectly, and I don't consider anyone a New Yorker. I just consider them future Floridians because one day they all move down. I've got to ask you about a couple things going on in Jersey, Congressman. The Newark Airport, I'm sure a lot of your constituents use the Newark Airport. What is going on there, and what are you telling folks about the opportunity to get back on track?
This was a bad month for New Jersey. I love New Jersey. You know, where I live is not everybody's typical image of New Jersey. We have farms, we have beautiful shoreline, beaches, bays, meadows. It's really a great place. And there are nice parts to it. It's a great state. But some of the leadership we've had. So let's talk about what Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg did in the last 4 years. They were so worried, not about infrastructure, but about the pronouns we used and the bathrooms we used and how those bathrooms were laid out. They were so worried about everything woke, what we did, how to be politically correct all the time. Couldn't use the term cockpit. Honest to God, some things I never even understood what they were. Have tree equity. You know what tree equity is, Matt? I never figured it out. You were in Congress. They wanted tree equity. They wanted to stop racist roads. I wasn't sure what that all meant. I mean, there was a lot of BS and a lot of garbage. But you know what they didn't concentrate on? Infrastructure. They didn't make sure that all that decaying and corroding copper was changed over to fiber. They didn't make sure that our runways were what they should be. They didn't make sure that we had done all the things with technology and with the STARS program, which is something that every single airport should have when issues occur. So many things we fell behind. And now I feel so bad for Duffy because he comes in, he's got to straighten it all out. He walks in within 100 days, he's got this disaster that was created in large part by the inaction, the stupidity, I'm going to call it what it is, and the wokeness when they were worried about everything but their job. What they should have been worried about is keeping America safe, about public safety, about national security. And once again, Matt, the theme that runs through all this, keep America. We should be the best in air traffic, not following somebody else. We should be leading as we should in everything else we do. So hopefully now we're going to get back on track.
One thing I know about Jersey, people there don't like to wait. People are on the move, in action, in motion, and might be a bad look for Democrats if their policies led to those backups at the Newark Airport. But some of your New Jersey congressional colleagues decided to take the occasion to go to the ICE detention center and get in this scuffle with the mayor. It must have been very strange for you to see your former Democrat colleagues behaving this way. What do you attribute it to, and what is your message to people in your state about the behavior of some of their congressmen?
I'll start with the last first. I am embarrassed for them. It hurts me to see that, and I mean that sincerely. Our great state and what they're doing. They are the ones that are supposed to be the caretakers of the rule of law and believe in the rule of law. And what they did was so wrong and so disturbing. It was disgusting. It was harmful. And here's the worst part. This is the weird thing that I don't get about the Democratic Party today. They're not worried about the victims of abuse that was promulgated by some of these illegal aliens, murders, rapes, disfigurement, just every horrible atrocity you could think of. They're worried about bringing them back in. They're more worried about them, those that created this harm, those that are the actual crime committers, than they are the victims that who are Americans. It's bizarre. So they want to bring them back from El Salvador. The very facility that they were attacking and creating a tussle, which could have been dangerous for law enforcement and everybody else, is a facility where there are individuals, this is factual, who raped their children numbers of times, who committed murder, who committed just about every crime you could think of, theft, but were serious kinds of crimes, horrible, brutal crime, and that's what they want to bring back to New Jersey and bring back to America. It is bizarre, it's perverse, it's awful, it's not what American people want, and it's not what even, you could be a normal Democrat, I'm constituents, I'm not too sure about elected officials anymore, or you could be an independent, or you can be a Republican, man. You don't want to see that. That's terrible.
The voice of common sense, New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, thanks as always for joining us on the program, and best of luck delivering on President Trump's agenda in Congress.
Thank you, Matt. I miss seeing you. I appreciate you, and the best of luck with the show and everything you do in your life.
Oh, thanks so much. See you, my friend.